Hey everyone, welcome to the point spread live stream. It's Sunday morning, so my brain automatically goes to Final Points Tom. Whatever it is, Final Points point spread live stream. We're here on Conference Championship Sunday. I'm here. Tom Brolley's there. T-Bro, what's going on here? How's life been here?
Pretty good. I was lamenting earlier. I had a Medvedev outright in the Australian Open. He had him like plus 200. He was up 2-0, and then blew it to Rafa Nadal. So off to a roaring start here on Championship Sunday. Hopefully we get some winners coming down the pike later today here.
Did you not hedge?
No, well, I woke up at 6. I rolled over, hung over 6 a.m., checked the score on my phone. I'm like, yeah, he's got it. I'm not watching it. I'm like, the scores are pretty lopsided too. I'm like, screw it. I'm going back to bed. Wake up, 5th set. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And we blew it. So here we go. We're making it back during the conference championship games.
So yeah, Medvedev, Nadal. I think that's his 21st major title.
Yeah, just a second down in Australia. I think his first one was in 2009.
Yeah, he's double Grand Slammed now.
Yeah,
he's won them all at least twice. Pretty impressive stuff there from Rafael Nadal. T-Bro, though, no, nobody gives a shit about that if they're on the live show. Well, maybe you do, but maybe you don't. More likely you don't. You want to talk football here, Tom? We got 2 games here. There's a lot on the line in these games. And interestingly enough, these are both rematches, and they're both recent rematches. Now, obviously, the 49ers and Rams have played twice because they're division rivals, but both of these teams have played basically in the last month. Both of these games have been replayed, and the winners were today's underdogs, the Bengals and the 49ers. The Bengals are 7-point underdogs. Obviously, that game is in Kansas City. San Francisco is playing in Los Angeles, but there should be a very vocal 49er contingent there as well. So interesting setting here for but you know what's the old adage? It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's what the 49ers are trying to do. And the Bengals here are pretty long underdogs here in the conference championship at 7 points.
Yeah. Yeah, they're actually going for the 7th victory in a row here. They've kind of owned the series here between, Shanahan's kind of had McVay's number. 6 straight wins, 4 straight ATS victories as well. 31-10 and back in week 10. That was a Monday night game. And then we had the week 18 comeback. That was actually the first game that the Rams ever blew with a halftime lead as well under Sean McVay. So, they found something that worked and went back to that. Was also I think that was the first game that Jimmy Garoppolo was playing through the thumb injury as well. There was talk that he got it shot up at halftime and came out and played a lot better after halftime there. So, it is a weird setup though, Joe. You're right. Both these teams have played in the last 4 to 5 weeks, and both of the underdogs have won. So it makes for an interesting dynamic with this game. And then that's why I think if the Bengals don't win that game back in week 17, maybe this line is a little bit heavier. Maybe it's sitting at that 7.5, 8. But the Bengals have that win to their name there, so it's been sitting 7 all week here. And I think anybody that's watched the playoffs so far would think that the Rams have been the better team. They let their foot off the gas a little bit against the Buccaneers, but other than that fourth quarter, I mean, they've been pretty dominant for the first 7 quarters.
And it was a fourth quarter that, we'll talk about that when we get to the Rams 49ers game, but it was a fourth quarter that, 4 turnovers and not a single one of them was Stafford's fault.
I know. That would have been the ultimate, people piling on Stafford, and he had nothing to do with, the Buccaneers getting back into that game. People would have been all up in his shit for that loss, and he had no responsibility for it at all.
All right, let's get to the first game. This is the early afternoon game. Tom, I think I might be able to get out to the driving range before then. I don't know how much snow did you get?
We didn't get any, actually.
Really?
I was talking to Ben. He got pounded. He lives down in the New Jersey, right across the line there from Philadelphia. He got 10 to 12 inches. It kind of cut off basically outside of Philly there. So we just it's just freezing cold up here. But
I might be able to
get some warmer temps here soon.
Get out to the driving range here before our buddy Blau is coming over here.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta brainstorm something to make up for the games. Yeah. Our buddy TJ is coming over for the game, so I need to make something up for the big games. But so if anybody's watching this wants to throw some suggestion in the comments there for some food ideas, let me know.
Let's go here, Tom, to the 3 p.m. game. It's Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City laying 7, 54.5 is the total. Any initial leans for you, Tom, with this Cincinnati KC game?
Yeah,
I'm not a lean. It's Sunday. It's like, what?
Yeah, I got these. I actually been on these bets since Monday. I grabbed. There's a 7.5 still out there all week. BetMGM has been the one book that has laid a 7.5 all week here. There might be some 7.5s popping as we get closer to kickoff. I'm seeing some -7s, -115s at DraftKings and Caesars here. So, if you're looking to, if you don't have a BetMGM and you're looking to get a 7.5, I would wait it out here. It seems like the last minute money has been kind of coming towards the Chiefs. So I think it's probably going to stay at 7, but it's one of those to sit and wait out here. I also have the total over 53.5. I got that early in the week over at DraftKings. It's been 54.5 basically all week, and it's pretty flat. It's -110 across the board pretty much everywhere. So it looks like that line has settled in there at 54.5.
Yeah. So look, we're going to have a high scoring game here. And when you look at Cincinnati, Tom, basically kind of since that Kansas City game, you have Cincinnati, who was a very balanced team early in the season, have been one of the pass heaviest teams in neutral situations. As a matter of fact, since that, I think since the Kansas City game or just a little before, they're passing the ball in over 60% of neutral situations. It's third most in the NFL over that span. Kansas City's one of the other teams, Buffalo one of the others, and Cincinnati has been just pouring points on the board since then. The key here, of course, protecting Joe Burrow, because if they can protect Joe Burrow, these Cincinnati receivers are going to feast on this Kansas City secondary. But if they can't protect Burrow, and Steve Spagnuolo likes to rush with 4. I would think Spagnuolo is going to come out. He's going to see if his 4, maybe 5-man pressure concepts can get to Burrow at the start, which would really help that secondary, having 6-7 guys in the back 7 there.
Yeah, he was uber aggressive in that first matchup. He was leaving Ward on an island there against Jamar Chase, and Chase kept winning those one-on-one battles. Of course, that was the game where he exploded for, I think it was 260 in the fantasy championship week there. Scoring 50-some fantasy points in that game. So I doubt that they come. It's going to be one of those things. You're right. They'll probably start the game, seeing if they can generate pressure with 4 or 5 guys. I think they prefer to do that. But if it's not getting home, then it could get dangerous. Mid-game if they have to start generating pressure by bringing extra guys. And those are the type of situations if you're leaving Chase on an island or even T. Higgins on an island. It can start to get a little dangerous, but
So I think the total is fair. I think the spread's fair. I mean, Kansas City's won two of the last 2 AFC Championship games. You're looking at Cincinnati. Making their first appearance here in over 30 years, and the game that they played earlier, that game was in Cincinnati. So now the game's in KC. Tom, any other thoughts here? Maybe with some props here. Did you hit any props in this game?
Oh yeah, I hit plenty of props here, Joe. I'm with you though. I'm on the over. Everything's kind of correlated to this being a bit of a shootout here. Like a lot of the Burrow, and there's some specials on DraftKings and FanDuel. Burrow and Mahomes to combine for over 600 passing yards. Let's see here. I got T. Higgins anytime touchdown. I do have some unders. I got Uzoma under 39.5. That was just a big line. He's had 2 big games here in the postseason, but he had a reception right before half where Titans were just conceding it. It was like a 29-yard reception or whatever it was. So that number got a bit inflated here this week. It's been bumped down to like 35.5, 36.5. I'm with you, Joe. They've gone real pass heavy here over the last 6-7 games or whatever it is. It's like dating back to week 13. Joe Mixon, the running game just hasn't been the same. Riley Reif's been out of the lineup since then. At right tackle, they just haven't been able to get the same kind of running game that they had, the first, 10, 12 weeks of the season there. So I got Mixon under 60.5 rushing yards. It's been bet down to like 57.5. I still lean toward the under there. I just think they're coming into this game. They're not going to be like, oh, we're going to slow this game down and drag out position. That's not how you're going to beat the team. You gotta step into the cage with them and try to throw haymakers with them. So I think they're going to come out aggressive. I like Burrow. The number was sitting around 290 or so. I couldn't quite get there, but I do have these other bets, where they're getting over 600 passing yards. So I do think it's going to be a bit more of a shootout here.
Yeah. All right. So let's get then. So let's just recap there. You have receiver props in this game.
Yeah, I got just the Uzoma under. I didn't really hit any other over receiver props. Chase. I would lean towards Chase's over. We took advantage of those the last 2 weeks. Those are two props I did hit. That we were sitting at 70, I think, yards in the wild card round. Got bumped up to 75 or 76 yards last week in the divisional round. We're getting no discounts anymore, though. He's up 87.5 where I'm looking now. That we're starting to get into the territory where, that's tough to get over. I know we have him projected a little bit higher. I think we got him for like 100 some yards. But I'm also a bit worried. We saw what the Chiefs did with Stephon Diggs last week, where they were rolling safety help over top to protect against Stephon Diggs. So they could potentially give the same kind of treatment to Chase. Bit different T. Higgins than Gabriel Davis on the other side, but we saw Gabriel Davis take advantage of it. So that's why I did end up taking a T. Higgins anytime touchdown. It was really, I thought, a good value. It's plus 190 at DraftKings. Most other places it's sitting around plus 140, plus 150. I thought that was a pretty good price there at plus 190.
San Francisco at Los Angeles. The LA Rams are laying 3.5 at home, despite losing the last 6 games outright in this series. 45.5 the total. Predicting a low-scoring game here between San Fran and Los Angeles. Yeah,
I tend to agree. I was thinking about betting the under early in the week. It was sitting, 47, I think it was. And it's just seen under money all week here. So, this is, the way that the 40, they want to control the ball. They want to, this is one of those teams. We're talking about the Bengals. I don't think they're going to come out uber aggressive. I can see, the 49ers do what they do every week. They control the ball. They Elijah Mitchell's going to get his, 15 to 20 carries. Deebo Samuel's a major factor now in this running game. And we've even seen the Rams. They've kind of changed their stripes a little bit here towards the end of the season. They've been more run heavy recently. We saw Cam Akers get 24 carries last week, only got 48 yards. But even at the end of the year, when Michelle was the only guy, he was racking up close to 20 carries a game, in the November, December there. So they've kind of slowed it down a little bit too here. So 45.5, I would still look towards the under there. I did grab the 49ers plus 3.5. I forgot. I do have I have an NFC championship and a Super Bowl outright for the 49ers. My entry point was I think week 15 or week 16 when they were on the outside looking in there. So I got them 15-1 and 30-1. So rooting for that stuff too. So I'm on the 49ers side here in this game. See if they can make it 7 in a row against the Rams.
Now, Tom, let's get to some of the props here. Jimmy Garoppolo down at 230.5, Stafford up to 282.5. Very interesting to see the rushing props. Cam Akers at 62.5. I guess the markets do think they're still going to give him the ball after fumbling twice in that last game, almost cost him the game.
Yeah, I'm fading it a little bit. I jumped in a little bit early. I think it was 60.5 or 61.5. It's not that big of a difference. It did get up to 63.5 at one point. It's been a great story. I mean, the fact that he's back from a July injury like that, a torn Achilles, this is something that we just really haven't seen across sports, not just football, and let alone the running back position, where it's a crippling injury for these guys' careers whenever they suffer an Achilles injury. So just the fact that he's back, but it hasn't looked very pretty here. I don't have his yards per carry average, but it's sitting around 2.5 here. In his first 3 games back. And, it was a tough match. You're going against the Buccaneers run defense last week, but, I'd argue that 49ers run defense is right up there with the Buccaneers, especially Tampa kind of faded a little bit towards the end of the year with their run defense. So It's not going to be easy for Akers here. And, the 2 lost fumbles, maybe they pull back a little bit on his usage. Maybe, it got a little carried away. Maybe Michelle is a bit more of a factor here. It's not like he's been terribly effective either, but maybe I think it's going to be a little bit more even, 60-40, maybe 70-30. I think they got a little carried away last week with Akers, and it's just his 3rd game back.
Yeah. And by the way, Tom, one prop that's standing out to me, I don't know, like we'll talk receiving props here. Cooper Kupp way up at 103.5.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like Jawan Jennings at 24.5.
Yeah, I mean, he was excellent in that game. That was his breakout game against the Rams.
Yeah.
In that, the way the game played out, they really had to go pass heavy in the second half. They were trailing by 14, 17 points. For much of that second half there, so they really had to throw it a lot. But he's been pretty good here. He kind of emerged late in like in the second half of the season here. He's been a pretty big part of the passing game. So yeah, I just think it's going to be an under game though. I'm not taking many overs in this contest. Especially from receiving and passing games.
If I'm taking one, it's going to be something like that where Jennings can make one catch and do it.
Yeah, and I think he's certainly played enough, and he's been targeted enough that he could do it. And I would definitely. He's one guy I probably lean toward his over. 24.5. The other guy, I know Graham gave out his over, Debo's over for his receiving yards, but his usage in the passing game has just been a little scary for me here, especially in the playoffs here. They've been really generating the handoffs for him here the last 2 games in the playoffs.
All right, Tom. Let's take a look at your big board here for the game. For the games, we got 2 games. You've got the board all written out. It's behind you. What are the bets? What's on the card today?
Yeah, I got Cincinnati plus 7.5, San Francisco plus 3.5. I also have those outrights for the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. So I'm
that should be in KC over 53.5, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, KC, that's over 53.5. I have a parlay with Cincinnati 7.5 over 53.5. I also grabbed Chiefs' highest scoring team. It was minus 105 at BetMGM. That was they were kind of like minus 130 pretty much across the board at other shops. So I thought that was a little bit of value. That was a bet specific to BetMGM. Their implied team total sitting, 30, 31 points in that game. Everybody else, the next closest team is the Rams, sitting around 24 points. So I thought there was some value on that one. I'm not, I would bet the over in the Cincinnati Kansas City game, under in the San Francisco Rams game. So I thought that was a little bit of a good value there. Uzoma under 39.5 receiving yards. That's just a bet against that number. It's juiced up here a little bit. He was sitting basically 30 yards, 32 yards, for much of the season and the last couple of weeks. So we're just getting a few extra yards there. Good to bet the under. Akers under 61.5. Just went into that one. Stafford under 277.5 passing yards. That one's actually up to like 282 in some spots. I really like. I'm not going to rebet it. It's not that big of a yardage difference, but I still really like that at 282.5. Just the way the 49ers have been playing all year. They kind of control the ball, take the ball air out of the ball, and really slow things down. And it's been just blindly betting unders against San Francisco's pass defense. It's been a major winner all season here, and it's continued. We saw Aaron Rodgers struggle last week. He couldn't put up numbers. So I really like that one. Stafford under 282.5 if you can go out and shop around and get that number. The Higgins plus 190 anytime touchdown. Van Jefferson under 2.5 catches. I think he's been, at 2 or fewer catches.
He's also banged up.
Yeah, and he's also banged up a little bit. He's become kind of the shot play guy. So I like that number. It's, minus 120, minus 130, depending on where you look. Mixon under his 60.5 rushing yards. Went into that one a little bit. Mahomes over 2.5 touchdown passes. I think that was like a plus 115 when I saw it at FanDuel. So, I'm expecting a higher scoring game, and he's really turned it on here in the postseason. And just a little nugget, he is 3 touchdown passes away from matching the postseason touchdown passing record. So, that could play in a little bit of a, they could have another game anyway. But, if he's close and, they have a chance to get that tie already, I could see them trying to do that there. And I got Mahomes and Burrow, 600 passing yards combined. That's like plus 150 at FanDuel there. So I really like that prop. Expecting a high-scoring game in Cincinnati and Kansas City there.
Tom, before we go, Austin has given you a recipe for
I saw this
spicy sausage dip.
That is really good.
Pleaser.
My aunt actually makes that one every. We have the big Christmas meal, and then you're sitting around just drinking beers and shooting the shit with the family. My aunt always pulls out the spicy sausage dip, so that is a good one. I might have to look into that one. That is a maybe. I'll tell you what, Austin. I'm going to some Super Bowl party. I might at least make it for that. That is a good one there.
Yeah, the Velveeta spicy sauce. My next door neighbor, I think she made that for Friendsgiving. It was pretty good then. The spicy
get some Uncle Charlie's sausage up here in western and central Pennsylvania, and that puts it over the top. Get that ground spicy Italian sausage in there.
Apparently, Ben deleted the comment because he thought it was spam.
Oh, the Velveeta.
I was asking for recipes. The man gives you a recipe.
I love that it has the Velveeta and the trademark symbol there. Maybe that's Ben's like.
Yeah,
he's sniffing that out.
Well, Velveeta is not real. Velveeta's like plastic, but
I know, but it
makes some damn good dips. Though.
It is tasty though. I'll every once in a while I'll get just the tortilla chips, and I'll cut up some of that Velveeta, just spray, get a little salsa. Oh yeah, that hits the spot.
Add some slap your mama, Austin says. What is slap your mama?
I don't know what that is, but
I better look it up.
I might have to look for some slap. I'm guessing that's a hot sauce.
Slap your mama. Slap your mama is Cajun seasoning.
Ooh, that is interesting. That would really add some pizzazz to that spicy dip there.
Oh, Tom, the dip. I remember one time Tom and I were going to a Super Bowl party, and Tom, we were very late to go to the grocery store.
Oh gosh,
for the buffalo chicken dip, and all the Frank's Red Hot was sold out except for what was it? The extra
hot. They took the E off the extra. That's how hot it was. It was just a big extra. I mean, literally, we go there, Joe, and it's just a complete empty shelf of every kind. The Louisiana hot sauce. There's nothing there except for like 5 bottles of this extra hot buffalo sauce. Whoo! It lived up to the billing. My God, we were the only ones that were able to eat that stuff. It was
and I'm pretty sure it's like that experience like single-handedly ruined my ability to eat like super spicy stuff. I think I like the buffalo flavor, but I'm a mild and medium guy.
Yeah, we're getting older too. I can't handle that super spicy stuff like I could in my 20s. It's now anytime I go out and if I get wings or whatever, it's the mild buffalo. I'm such a wimp anymore.
You're a beta.
Yes, exactly.
You're like Tony Finau. All right, guys. Enjoy Conference Championship Sunday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Hey, Mom. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know who your mom shares a birthday with?
Oh,
Andrew
Franklin
Weibel.
Delano Roosevelt and Andrew Weibel. I do know
Andrew Weibel. There it is.
Yeah,
so happy birthday to him. I just saw him yesterday, but I'm sure he's not watching. I'm sure he's recovering from the hangover that he's suffering from right now.
Oh, was he all tuned up?
Oh yeah, they came up for the weekend, so he was away from the child, so he was going to town, baby.
Oh boy. My wife and I are enjoying our time as dinks. So we're going to stick with that. Yeah, the old Blau's going to come over. You know how rowdy it gets when Blau.
Oh, baby, you keep him on a leash. Yeah, man, he's going to be off the chain.
All right, guys, take it easy. Happy Conference Championship Sunday.